The Hidden History of How Civilizations Sleep 1.4 The Knights, the Friars, and the Birth of Trust at a Distance. In the early 12th century, a small group of European knights took a vow that on the surface was about religious devotion. They pledged to protect Christian pilgrims traveling to the Holy Land. They became known as the Poor Fellow Soldiers of Christ. History remembers them as the Knights Templar. The Templars confronted a practical problem that turned out to be civilizationally important. Pilgrims traveling from England, France, or Germany to Jerusalem could not safely carry coin across thousands of miles of bandit-infested territory. So the Templars built a network of houses across Europe and the Middle East, where a pilgrim could deposit funds in one location and withdraw equivalent funds in another. The transactions were authenticated by documents and by reciprocal trust between Templar houses. In modern language, the Templars built the first European international banking network. What made this possible was not technical genius. The technical aspects of credit, double-checked records, were not unprecedented in absolute terms. The Islamic world had similar instruments earlier. What made it work was something more elusive. A community of brothers, bound by oath and by faith, who trusted each other's books. That last phrase deserves attention. Who trusted each other's books, thought without that trust, no network. Without the network, no flow of funds across distance. Without the flow, no economic integration of Christendom. The technical innovations of double-checked accounting could only become real, world-changing tools inside a community that already, at its foundation, treated honesty between members as a sacred obligation. The Templars themselves were dissolved in 1312 under sordid circumstances involving the French king's debts. But the pattern they had embodied, religious community as the trust substrate for economic innovation, did not die. It moved into a quieter institution. In the early 13th century, in central Italy, two new religious orders emerged. The Franciscans, founded by Francis of Assisi, the Dominicans, founded by Dominic. They were called mendicant orders, orders of begging friars. They took vows of poverty, they lived in cities, among ordinary people. They preached to merchants and laborers. And crucially for our story, they organized themselves not as isolated monasteries, but as brotherhoods, with mutual obligation, mutual transparency, and a shared commitment to the welfare of the poor. Around the same time, the cities of northern Italy, Venice, Florence, Genoa, Siena, were developing guilds and confraternities. These were associations of artisans and merchants. They took collective oaths to support each other in business, sickness, and death. They were not modern corporations. They were religious associations first, economic associations second. Their meetings began with prayer. Their funds supported widows and orphans of members. Their account books were open to fellow members, because fellow members were brothers in Christ. It is in this soil, and only in this soil, that double-entry bookkeeping becomes possible.